All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Streaming the video always to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the website WSICnews.com. If you have something you'd like to talk about, you can give me a call, 704-873-1400. That is the number today. And why don't we start today out with some big things going on. Now, this isn't news. This is just some big things that are going on. Now, I got a message from, if anybody listens to the morning show, Good Morning LKN, I got a message from Bill. We all know Bill. And Bill says I better talk about the Orioles versus the Rays series that's going on this week. Well, yeah, it's pretty huge. Pretty much the biggest series going on right now, I would say. This is the only one that can really impact who's going to win a division going on right now. So we got a 4-game set here from the Orioles and the Rays. It's going to be in Baltimore. Now, the way they shake down in the standings is pretty important. Baltimore only holding a 2-game advantage over Tampa Bay. Now, that's going to be a really important series because whoever takes this series is probably going to take the AL East unless they split. And in that case, it's still going to be wide open because we do still have plenty of time left in the season. Now, we're getting down to it. We only have a few series left, but there is still time. But this series for the Blue Jays, or for the Rays and for the Orioles, it's going to be huge. And if you like baseball, if you're interested in baseball, that's going to be the series to check out because it's going to be huge. Big playoff implications. We had some baseball games going on earlier today. The Marlins lost to the Brewers. Man, and if we've been following that NL race, the Marlins losing to the Brewers is not good for quite a few teams. Obviously, the Marlins, as they've now fallen a game out. But more than that, and maybe more importantly, the Cubs are starting to really fall out of the race for the division there. Because when you really look at it, with like I've been saying, with how many games are left and with who's hot and who's falling, I mean, the Cubs are on a 2-game losing streak here. It's time for them to get it together because they're 4.5 back, and Milwaukee, they got a couple of layups coming up. They're playing Washington coming up. Washington 65-82, horrible record. So it's going to be pretty important for them to start winning some games if they're the Cubs. Other games that were going on today, we had another rain out in the Yankees-Red Sox series. So game 1 of another doubleheader happened earlier today. The Red Sox took that game 5-0. They're still 7 out of the wild card. I don't know if they're going to make it. I think there's just too much time. Toronto, Seattle, Texas, those are really the only teams battling for that final wild card spot. I can't see any reason that it would be anybody else because, yes, there's still time, but there's just not enough time. And as we look into the NL, I feel so bad for Cincinnati. Like, I really think I jinxed them. They are a game out. They're a half game out of the playoffs. Yesterday they were in, and then they lost to Detroit. Tough game, but they're a half game out. Arizona holding on to that final wild card spot in the NL. It is going to come down to the last series of the season. I promise. There's nobody that's going to get hot enough to pull away in the wild card because all of these teams are so similar to each other in the way they play, I mean, it's just going to be hard for somebody to pull away unless you get on a crazy win streak. And that hasn't happened for anybody in this race for the past 2 weeks. So with about 2.5, 3 weeks to go, are we going to expect somebody else to all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to start playing great baseball? And oh boy, let's see, something like Miami's going to win 5 in a row, and all of a sudden they're in the wild. Like, I just don't see that happening. All these teams in the NL battling for this last couple of spots, they're hovering right around 500. I mean, Arizona is the last team in right now. They're 76-71. That is so close to 500. And then you have Miami 75-72, even closer to 500. So, I mean, it's not like I said, nobody's going to get hot here. Nobody's going to get a 10 or a 7, 8, 9 game winning streak going. They're just too average for that to happen. And I guess the goal is to be more average than the other teams. I don't know. When you look at San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Miami, they're all 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're 500 baseball. That's just what it is. And when you look ahead at Arizona, Chicago, I mean, 6-4 in their last 10. This is what I'm talking about. They're too average. Nobody's going to pull away. And this race for the NL wild card is going to come down to the last day of the season. One team that's hot right now, though, as we go back to the American League, is the Texas Rangers. And we talked about that a little bit here yesterday, how they lost Max Scherzer for the year. And it was a tough deal for them. They lost DeGrom. They trade for Scherzer. They lose Scherzer. And now they're on a 5-game winning streak. And guess what? They've put themselves back into the wild card. Now they're still not out of the division. The AL West is going to be, not only is the wild card going to be decided on the last day, but the AL West is probably going to be decided on the last day of the season. You have Houston leading, Texas a game back, and Seattle a game and a half back. Side note, the Angels are a day away from being eliminated. I don't want to. We're not gonna roast the Angels today. I just thought I'd mention that because we talked about how close they would be to the playoffs and how amazing they've been, but they haven't been amazing. They've been pretty bad and too many injuries. So they're about to be eliminated. It's really sad. Check out that Orioles-Rays series in baseball this week. It's gonna be a great series. Two of the best teams in the American League going up against it. And we didn't even mention it, but the Braves have clinched for the 6th straight year. The Braves have clinched the NL East. So congratulations to them. There really wasn't any question about that. It was going to happen. We're heading to a break here. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk NFL football. We have a game tonight. Who are you going to cheer for? What are you looking for? Are you going to be able to watch it? Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. We'll be back after this.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Enjoy exploring the many musical talents of others? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius is hosting the LKN Songwriters Showcase this Saturday. Davidson Mayor Rusty Knox will be among the performers. The LKN Songwriters Showcase this Saturday. For more info, visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Less than 2 weeks until Huntersville Hay Day, the sesquicentennial celebration for the town of Huntersville. Saturday, September 23rd from 2 until 8 p.m. at Huntersville Athletic Park. Come celebrate Huntersville's 150th birthday, Saturday, September 23rd. For more info, visit huntersville.org. Not much time left for apple picking at Kerrigan Farms. The apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is a very short window. Apple picking will end September 30th. Apple picking at Kerrigan Farms, only in September. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. That's kerriganfarms.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, September 30th through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure! Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
Mention the Renaissance Festival and receive discount hotel accommodations at Hampton Inn and Suites, Huntersville and Lake Norman. Huzzah!
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head into the evening hours, there's no chance of rain, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight low of 58 degrees, but a clear sky to be expected through the nighttime and into tomorrow morning. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high getting to 78 degrees. This is your weather update from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Many of you probably know us from our large coffee house downtown, but did you know we're also the owners of Statesville's first and only coffee roasting facility? We purchase coffee beans from around the world, bring them right here to Statesville, roast them in our facility for our customers around the region. Why would you go to a grocery store, purchase old coffee beans off the shelf, or any other source where you can have fresh roasted beans at Lake Mountain Coffee, 131 West Broad Street in Statesville.
Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, welcome back here to the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number. Got some news out of the NFL here. Has to do with what we saw on Thursday Night Football last week. So if you remember Jawan Taylor, does anybody remember what happened on last Thursday? First game of the year. Chiefs, Lions, Jawan Taylor, the right tackle for the Chiefs. He was jumping early. Every play, every single play, he was jumping early. False start. But they didn't call it. They didn't call it once. Well, the NFL plans to crack down on illegal tackle alignment starting this week, following the debacle in week 1 with the Chiefs' right tackle, Jawan Taylor. There was a weekly training tape, which was sent to all 32 teams and officials. Okay, so this, although, it kind of has to do with what was going on with the jumping early, this is more about where he was lining up. Now, when you look at an offensive line, the tackles are supposed to have their heads like right at the belt of the center. Taylor was way back. And the it's bad when the commentators are joking around about it and saying, oh my goodness, Jawan Taylor's lined up in the slot. That's not good. It's not a good look. So I'm glad that they decided to actually crack down on this. Now, I don't think that they wanted to do this right after the first game of the year, because you kind of got to get through everyone's game before you say, hey, reminder, you can't be doing this. I feel like this could be something that the NFL just says, we are going to absolutely crack down on this. There is no way that we miss any more of these. Kind of like when they crack down on pass interference and holding and face. It's something every year. There's a point of emphasis every year. One thing. This year, maybe it's illegal alignment of your tackles being too far back on the line of scrimmage. And it was bad because had Taylor been lined up the way he was supposed to line up, I don't know if he would have fared as well as he did. Not that he did good to begin with, because Aiden Hutchinson was kind of dominating him. And he probably would have done a lot better had he been allowed to, engage the tackle earlier because he lined up in the correct spot instead of the guy being 3 yards off the ball, it seems like. Now, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. So we head into week 2 tonight. Thursday night football. Vikings, Eagles in Philadelphia. Last time these two played was actually last year. Just about a year ago exactly, September 19th. The Eagles took that one 24-7 en route to their incredible season. The Vikings, one of the few losses that they had on the year. I don't expect this game to be too competitive. Now that's unless the Eagles play the way that they did in week 1 and the Vikings play the way that they did in week 1. Because although the Vikings lost, that offense was clicking on all cylinders. 250 pass yards at halftime. I mean, that's how you know you got something good going on. But I don't know if we're going to have that because we've seen the Eagles this year. They didn't look good, but it's week 1. I have a lot more confidence in the Eagles than I do the Vikings. And I don't know if that's because the Vikings were one of the weirdest teams in the NFL last year. They made the playoffs and won their division with a negative point differential. Don't know how they were able to. And I mean, they won like 12 games last year. I'm pretty sure they were 12-5 or 13-4, something like that. They won a lot of games, but they had a negative point differential. And they were a first-round exit. They were bounced by the Giants, which, man, if you look at how the Giants performed in week 1, you're like, how in the world did that team make the playoffs last year? But they did. So we have week 2 underway. If you're watching this game, this is your reminder that you need Amazon Prime to watch. Yeah. It's not on NBC, it's not on ABC, it's not on ESPN, no Fox, nothing. Amazon Prime Video. And that started last year, and I really thought it was going to hurt the ratings, but I throughout the year, as we got later in the year, the ratings were fine. There was nothing wrong with it. Everybody had figured it out, and they said, you know what? I guess we got to get Amazon if we want to watch a football game. And that's where we're heading. This is just the first one. There's going to be more teams. There's going to be, not teams, but there's going to be more streaming services that say, hey, we're going to own one game a week. And you can only see it on our platform. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it can work. Maybe Monday Night Football eventually becomes the next one that gets bought out by a streaming service because the NFL has NFL Sunday Ticket, NFL Red Zone, which is huge draws for fans because you can see any team you want at any time, or you can just watch Red Zone and have quote unquote 7 hours of commercial free football. And it is 7 hours commercial free. But if you sell one of the rights of those games on a Sunday, let's say the Panthers sell their rights, not this Monday night, but next week, right? Let's say they sell it to, I don't know, Hulu. Hulu says we are going to buy the Panthers-Seahawks game for the 24th. You can only watch that game here. Does the NFL still get to show that on their Sunday Ticket? Can they still show it in Red Zone? Or is that game completely now its own entity? You can only see it this one way. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. But this is the beginning. Thursday Night Football going to Amazon last year and it being a success, it's only the beginning. And I want to know if there's anybody out there listening who has an opinion on this. 704-873-1400. How do you feel about the NFL putting Thursday Night Football on Amazon, where you now have to pay for a service to be able to watch the game? Now, you got to pay for some kind of service to watch any game you want, but this is the first time that it's not on like a cable channel where you can just tune in and say, hey, football's on. It's Thursday night. Let me turn my TV on and change the channel. And no, you got to say, hey, let's put on Amazon streaming and find the game on Amazon Prime Video. Seems like a lot to me, honestly. I don't know, but I'm just spitballing here. I'm just coming up with ideas because it's going to happen. I'm not making this up. We've seen it happen already. It happened with one game on Thursday night. Is it because it's Thursday Night Football? I don't think so. I think it was going to happen regardless. I mean, Red Zone's now on YouTube TV, not on DirecTV. You have to stream it. So we're going towards the way of streaming. It's just, how is the NFL going to continue to, level up almost with how much money they get in these TV packages? Because the salary cap has been skyrocketing year over year, and eventually it has to stop, right? I mean, I know the whole business model of of this thing is, keep going up, keep making more money. Well, eventually you just can't. And what happens when that happens? Does the salary cap just stop going up? We're getting way ahead of ourselves here. We're getting way too deep into it. Let's come back. Let's come back down to earth. Vikings, Eagles, Thursday Night Football. I expect an okay game. The Vikings are just not an exciting team. The Eagles, a year off of their Super Bowl run, didn't look great in week 1, but they were able to get the win. And now it's in Philadelphia. Also a rematch of the NFC Championship game a few years ago with Case Keenum as the quarterback after they had the Minnesota Miracle, all that fun stuff. So, I know the rematch was last year, but it's still, I'm sure, some of the players that were on that team still have a sour taste in their mouth. I'm sure of it. But I got the Eagles tonight. I just don't think that the Vikings have what it takes to not only go into Philadelphia and win, but I just don't think they have what it takes to be competitive against the Eagles. And that is if the Eagles don't continue what they did in week 1. If they go back to the Eagles that we know they can be with all the talent that they have on that roster, then we'll see where they go. We're coming up on a break here. There's your Thursday night preview. That game coming up at 8 o'clock tonight. So tune in. Amazon, not on channels that you can find just by turning on your Spectrum box. No. You have to have Amazon. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Hey, thanks for listening here. We are done with segment number 2. 2 more segments to go. When we come back, we're going to go on to the NASCAR world and talk about Bristol. And final race of the regular season was in the Xfinity last week, in the playoffs now. So not only Cup Series, but we got Xfinity to talk about also. So stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Always ready to help you make it fun to work outside. Little Shavers Wood Shop stocks up on all your wood, treated lumber, wood fencing, and all the treatment items to keep them looking great. PBG, paints, and stains, and add in some pine needles and Daddy Pete's mulch and soils, and your landscaping will be the best around. Tools, supplies, and just about all you need is ready for you at Little Shavers. Head on over to Little Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Highway, right in between Statesville, Morrisville, and Moxville. Visit littleshaverswoodshop.com. That's LIL shaverswoodshop.com.
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head into the evening hours, there's no chance of rain, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight low of 58 degrees, but a clear sky to be expected through the nighttime and into tomorrow morning. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high getting to 78 degrees. This is your weather update from the WSIC Weather Center.
This is North Carolina Senator Vicki Sawyer. Join me on Fridays at 11 a.m. for our show, We're Just Saying. We'll discuss state and local politics, and as always, take your calls here on News Talk WSIC.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. That's 800-478-4170.
Here's Daily Hope with Pastor Rick Warren.
The Bible says it is not good for man to be alone, and God meant for us to be in community with each other. Whether you ever get married or not, doesn't matter. Really what matters is, do you have a spiritual family, a group of 3 or 4 or 5 people that you can walk through life with so you're not on your own?
Hear more from Rick Warren at PastorRick.com.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
The Panthers' home opener is coming up, and it doesn't get any bigger than this, taking on a division rival on Monday Night Football. I'm Sharon Thorson with the Panthers update after this.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Panthers at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you have the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change, and mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Panthers.
The Panthers return to Bank of America Stadium for their home opener, taking on the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football. It's another first for rookie quarterback Bryce Young, who made his debut with the Panthers last week and now will make his first appearance on the Monday night stage.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, of course. It's definitely it's a great opportunity, a blessing to have that type of platform for us as a team. I think it's great and it's really cool, but at the same day, we're still playing on the same field we would have if it was on Sunday. We're still going to have to execute against a great team in New Orleans. So it's really cool. It's a great opportunity, but at the same time, it's still football. It's still going to be the same plan and same thing we would have done if it was Sunday. Regardless of the day, we have a big challenge ahead of us. So I think really all the focus is just making sure we're ready for that.
Coach Frank Reich will certainly make sure his team is ready, especially with the division rival coming to town.
Monday Night Football, being prime time, here at home, that's a big deal to play a night game at home. So, as a team and as an organization and as a fan base, I expect there will be a lot of juice from all of us.
Reich and the Panthers will take the field on Monday night at 7:15. I'm Sharon Thorson on the Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC News Talk Now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number. If you have something you'd like to talk about, are you going to be able to watch Thursday Night Football tonight? Because reminder, it's only on Amazon. Do you like that? Do you not like that? Let me know. 704-873-1400. All right. Moving on to the wonderful world of NASCAR, where we finally get to say, hey, we're going short track racing. We're going to Bristol, real Bristol, not dirt Bristol, because I really don't think that fans enjoy dirt Bristol all that much. Listen, it was cool at first. It really was. Like the first year, maybe the second year, but now I'm just kind of tired of it. Go back to the regular track. Just run the regular track, please. Nobody wants to see cup cars on dirt. You have plenty of gimmicks where you can do that. As far as, the truck series, which has been going to Eldora, which is actually a good event, but putting dirt on Bristol, thankfully, on Saturday night, when the Cup Series heads to Bristol, there's not going to be any dirt. It's going to be paved. And they'll be racing. So 2 guys are locked in right now. 2 cars, 2 drivers. That's the 5 of Kyle Larson and the 45 of Tyler Reddick. We head to the final round, or final race of round number 1, that being Bristol. A quick reminder, Martin Truex Jr., 7 points out. Bubba Wallace, 19 points out. Ricky Stenhouse, 22 points out. And Michael McDowell, 40 points. Let's hear from one of those drivers who's not in the playoffs right now, who might get eliminated, that being Bubba Wallace, on the fact that Bristol is a driver favorite.
Bristol's a favorite for all the drivers in the field. And so we know the race is going to be tough. The confidence is going to be high for everybody. And so we just need to go out and try to be better than the rest. I've always wanted to win at Bristol, but to show up there and have speed and to be competitive is the first step. But we got to start moving that needle. I think we're going to have to be in position to get stage points and fight for everything that we have. Just have to go out and enjoy the racetrack. That place is a track where you have to show up and respect it, because it will bite you. Enjoying it is a good step too.
And yeah, he's right. That is a track that will bite you if you're not careful. But we head to Bristol, elimination race. On the other side of the cut line, we have Harvick, 7 points to the good. Joey Logano, 12 points to the good. Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher, or as Dale Jr. likes to say, Christopher Buescher, both 13 points to the good. And here's one more of those drivers. That's Christopher Bell, talking about Bristol and how it's kind of a wild card race.
Yeah, Bristol's unique because it's not a super speedway. It's about as opposite of a super speedway as you could get, but it still has that feel of, if something happens in front of you, you're in trouble, and it's very tough to miss it. So whenever the schedule came out, I don't know how many years in a row Bristol has been a cutoff race, but it's one that you don't want to go in there having to race for points, for sure, because you never know what can happen. And I think even in my short career, at least half the races at Bristol have been DNFs because you get caught up in other people's messes. So fortunately last year I was able to do good through Darlington and Kansas, and Bristol was a ton of fun, and I was able to forget about points and go out there and try and race to win. So it is a little bit of a wild card.
And yeah, he's right. Definitely a wild card race. Not, we see it a lot. We see if you wreck down the straightaway or something like that, you will see they come up that turn and they'll collect 3, 4, 5 other cars in the accident. Usually you don't see that at a track that's not a super speedway. But with Bristol being so slow or so small but yet so fast, that's kind of how it goes there. It's not like Martinsville. In Martinsville, if there's a wreck, It's usually only a few people because you can avoid it for the most part. You're going slow enough, you can either slow down or they go into the corner and they hit the outside wall, and you can't do that. At Bristol, there's so much room on the inside of the track on the apron that if you spin down there, you're probably going to come back up the track in the corner and take someone out, which is why you see the kind of accidents that you do at Bristol. So as I said, the Cup guys, they'll be there on Saturday. We do have some Xfinity Series racing. That also from Bristol. And hey, we finally get to start the playoffs. Yay! Every NASCAR series is now in the playoffs. Thank goodness. I don't know why we do it the way that they were doing it before, or they're still doing it now, the way that they are currently doing it, where nobody starts the playoffs at the same time. It's 3 completely separate dates, but yet we're all going to end at the same time. Cool. That's the way it works. So anyway, we're going to go through the Xfinity Series real quick. John Hunter Nemechek, 49 bonus points throughout the season. Austin Hill behind him, only 39 bonus points. So we saw in the Cup Series, one bad race, one DNF, one race where you don't get any stage points, and you very well could see yourself below that cut line during the next race. Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Klingerman are currently the drivers that are outside looking in. Sheldon Creed, Josh Berry, Chandler Smith, those 3 are on the good side of the cut line, but they don't have many bonus points. All 3 of them with less than 10. And like I said, Xfinity Series, they will be at Bristol, that being a Friday night race. That's tomorrow night. It's the Food City 300. Last year, John Hunter Nemechek took the win, looking to repeat, and we'll see how they go there. I'm gonna continue to talk about this until they change it, until they either go back to just the cumulative points throughout the entire season, or they say, hey, everybody starts the playoffs at the same time. I'm just gonna continue to ask, why in the world are we not doing this? Why can't we have one race where we know every series has their final race of the regular season, and it can be a huge event? Speed Weeks is big, right? Because it's the first race of the year. Trucks are racing, Xfinity's racing, Cups racing, there's ARCA, there's all kinds of festivities for a week and a half with Daytona Speed Weeks. Why can't we have a NASCAR-centered, something different than Speed Weeks, like maybe Playoff Week, like, hey, this is the last race of the regular season, everybody's racing, and they could do it at Daytona still. They don't have to change it. You start the regular season at Daytona and the regular season at Daytona with a big event. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving good ideas. I just need somebody from NASCAR to tune in. You know what? Maybe the next time we talk to Jeff Striegel, I'm going to tell him this. I say, listen, Jeff, we got to change this. We got to have, and I'm sure he'd love it. He doesn't have to figure out who's in the playoffs, who's not, which series has already started. It's a mess. But NASCAR has been a mess for a long time. Hey, we're going to head to break here. We're going to continue to talk about NASCAR when we come back. Stay tuned. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, 704-873-1400 if you'd like to call in. We'll be back after this.
Conversations that matter.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to even think about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Enjoy exploring the many musical talents of others? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius is hosting the LKN Songwriters Showcase this Saturday. Davidson Mayor Rusty Knox will be among the performers. The LKN Songwriters Showcase this Saturday. For more info, visit canearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. Less than 2 weeks until Huntersville Hay Day, the sesquicentennial celebration for the town of Huntersville. Saturday, September 23rd from 2 until 8 p.m. at Huntersville Athletic Park. Come celebrate Huntersville's 150th birthday. Saturday, September 23rd. For more info, visit huntersville.org. Not much time left for apple picking at Kerrigan Farms. The apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is a very short window. Apple picking will end September 30th. Apple picking at Kerrigan Farms, only in September. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. That's kerriganfarms.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, September 30th through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure! Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last. The Carolina Renaissance Festival is sponsored by Sunbelt Rentals. For all your equipment rental needs, equipment service guaranteed. Huzzah!
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. As you head into the evening hours, there's no chance of rain, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight low of 58 degrees, but a clear sky to be expected through the nighttime and into tomorrow morning. Friday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high getting to 78 degrees. This is your weather update from the WSIC Weather Center.
Announcing the 50th anniversary of a classic, Tilley Harley-Davidson of Statesville. Today, Derek Tilley continues the legacy his parents began. Check out the all-new Street Glide ST. Saving on gas can be the most fun you'll ever have, and it's bad to the bone.
This is Derek Tilley with Tilley Harley-Davidson. Come by and help us celebrate a milestone.
With Tilley Harley-Davidson during the 50th anniversary celebration.
Been around 50 years, must be doing something right.
Tilley Harley-Davidson, Statesville.
Whatever the story,
We have to end our dependence on China.
have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, everyone. Last segment today. What a quick show on this Thursday. As we preview Thursday night football, talk a little NASCAR. And hey, guess what? Not only is there NFL tonight, but we do have some college football. If you're into that. I know there's a lot of college football fans around here. So if you're into it, if you don't want to buy Amazon Prime to watch the NFL this week, I mean, it's only the Vikings and the Eagles. Like, kind of gross. You could watch Bethune-Cookman play number 22 Miami. Can you tell how excited I am? What a riveting game. This is what I'm talking about with the NCAA. Why are we allowing these teams who are big schools to schedule people who are nobodies just so they can go beat up on them? It doesn't make sense to me. And when we get to this NFL style that we're going to see in college football, I hope that this stops because it's ridiculous. It's a wasted week. Not really, because, you know, your team's still going to play and they're going to win and they're going to be happy, but you're not really challenging anyone. Or you can watch Navy and Memphis, which I guess is like a little bit of a better option because probably going to be a little more competitive. Also, that one's going to be nationally televised on ESPN. So you don't have to figure it out if you want to try and watch Miami. Back to NASCAR, though. I do have more sound from drivers here. Oh, before we hear from anybody else, we did have some news break late yesterday. Trackhouse Racing. We all know who Trackhouse Racing is. They have Chastain and Daniel Suarez, the one in the 99. So Trackhouse Racing has announced that it signed Shane Van Gisbergen for the 2024 season. Whoa, that's interesting. He will compete in a combination of NASCAR's 3 national series. The team has agreed to build a program that will put the 34-year-old in select races in the Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman Truck Series, plus some late model and other races. That's going to be cool. I have no problem with it. I think it'll be awesome. We've seen a takeover in NASCAR before. We've seen F1 guys come over. Notably, Jenson Button raced in a couple of races this year. We've had Juan Pablo Montoya. He was a Formula One guy. He came over. So NASCAR is no stranger to being taken over. But if we have a supercar takeover, that'll be brand new. I guess you can count Marcos Ambrose, but like he's only one guy. Like, let's relax. We had Brody Kostecki racing. Who that is, I don't know, but he races supercars. He didn't really do that well. Shane did better. What's the I want to know what, as of September 14th, 2023, what are the odds for Shane Van Gisbergen to win a race next year? I would think that's a pretty good bet, especially if he races a road course in Xfinity or in trucks. I feel like he would have a pretty decent advantage just because he has a lot more experience driving road courses. Now, not the cars that you're going to see and that you're going to be driving. The Xfinity car is completely different than the Cup car. The truck is the truck. We're not even going to act like they're the same thing. Completely different. But SVG, after winning at Chicago and finishing 10th at Indy, he's got 2 top 10s to start his career. Awesome. But SVG is going to make it to the Cup Series. Not full time. I don't even think he's really going to be racing for points, to be honest, because if you're going to split between the 3 series, you have to declare one of them as your full time. I'm taking points in that series. I would think just because it's a shorter season and there's a lot less races, I would think that they would put him as like a kind of like a full-time truck guy, racing as many of those races as possible. But we'll see. We're still 6 months away from that happening. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome to see him in the Cup Series. He was a fan favorite when he won at Chicago, that's for sure. Everybody knew who SVG was. Well, guess what? You're going to get to keep getting to know him because he's coming to NASCAR. He's hopping over. He's no longer going to be in the land down under. He's going to be right here racing in the U.S. We're running out of time quickly here. A couple of things that I want to go over before we head out for the day. NFL, Vikings-Eagles. 8:30. Remember to take a look at that one. Heading back to baseball, we do have some games that have started. Tampa and Baltimore, they are about to start. We have some more games that just ended. None that really matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, the Pirates beat the Nationals. Cool, whatever. But still, you can look forward to the Rays and the Orioles, Yankees, Red Sox, Twins, White Sox, Rangers, Blue Jays, which is a huge series. We've talked about the Rangers. We've talked about the Blue Jays and how Those two teams are fighting for their wild card lives. There's no way Toronto catches Baltimore. It's not going to happen. Now, Texas could catch Houston, and then Houston would have to fight for that wild card. Not only that, Seattle could also catch Houston. So make sure you keep an eye out. Now, Seattle doesn't play today. They already played, I believe, actually. No, they have an off day today. So Seattle has an off day today after a tough loss in their last one. And we'll see what they do after that. So we head to Thursday night. We got, like I said, 2 college football games, 3 of them tomorrow. So you got 3 games on a Friday. I don't know if we like having college football games, at least not like important college football games. Like, I guess Miami is like kind of important because they're ranked, and whenever you're ranked, you just feel more important. I don't know how we feel about them being on a Thursday night in a day where there's NFL football, but for those of you who can't watch the NFL because you don't have Amazon Prime, it's a nice little consolation prize, if you will. Oh, man. Did anybody see the Colorado State head coach call out Deion Sanders? He said, so Rams coach was being interviewed on a radio show in Colorado, and he said, I don't care if they hear this in Boulder. I told them at ESPN, I took my hat off and I took my glasses off. I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. And that was specifically in response to Deion and the flashiness that he comes out with for his press conferences. I just think that's funny because, man, Colorado State's not winning this game. There's no way. Why are you calling out the head coach? Deion will tell his guys to not slow down. Like, you don't want to upset Deion. I'm telling you, he will tell his guys, don't slow down. Put up 50, put up 60, put up 70. I think that's going to be an exciting one. And that's one on Saturday that'll be on national television. So at 10 o'clock on ESPN, you'll be able to watch Colorado and Colorado State go at it. Maybe you haven't been able to check out Colorado just yet because you've been watching other things. Well, this weekend is your chance. Number 18 in the country right now, 10 o'clock on ESPN. They're the West Coast game. They're the nationally televised West Coast game this week. It's good. I think it's good to have them get put out there like that because Colorado, I'm going to say it again, they are going to fight for the playoffs this year. I don't know if they're going to get there. I would love to see them in there, but they're going to be competitive and they might get up all the way into the rankings to actually be considered for the playoffs. Kind of went off on a tangent there at the end. Completely forgot to continue to talk about NASCAR, but we have a whole extra day for that. Tomorrow's a busy one. We're going to preview the Panthers because you won't hear from me on Monday. As a reminder, you'll hear the Panthers pregame. So we'll preview that. Charlotte FC is going to be back in action. NASCAR, there's a lot going on. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, Justin Kazepis, Good Morning LKN. Don't forget to wake up early and sip on some coffee with him because that's all he does during that show is sips loudly on his coffee. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The new